Flying in 2025 looks glamorous from the outside. Sleek new planes, upgraded lounges, apps that claim to handle every step of your journey. But behind the polished marketing, air travel is still a minefield of hidden risks, sneaky airline tactics, and mistakes passengers don't even realize they're making until it's too late. And here's the scary part. One wrong move could cost you hundreds of dollars, hours of your trip, or even your safety. That's why today we're breaking down 17 of the most dangerous air travel mistakes you must avoid this year. Some are small things you might have brushed off before, but in 2025 they carry bigger consequences. Others are shocking truths airlines quietly hope you never figure out. Stick around because a mistake as simple as choosing the wrong seat row or forgetting a single document could ruin your entire vacation. Now let's dive straight in. Mistake 1. Ignoring travel document updates. It sounds basic, but in 2025, failing to check the constantly changing rules around passports, visas, and digital health documentation is the #1 mistake travelers regret. Post-pandemic, many countries have implemented biometric entry systems that require your passport to be machine-readable and valid for at least 6 months beyond your trip. Yet passengers still show up with passports set to expire in 3 months, only to be denied boarding before even leaving the airport. A particularly shocking story out of London Heathrow last year involved a family flying to the US for Disney World. Their passports were valid, but because they expired 5 months from the travel date, the airline refused to let them board. The airline is required by law to enforce this, and if they miss it, they face fines of thousands of dollars. The family lost nearly $8,000, 0 cents in non-refundable tickets, and hotel bookings. The mistake isn't just about passports. Many countries have introduced new digital entry forms, like the European ETIAS system, launching in 2025. Forget to apply? You're not flying. Airlines won't risk carrying you. The fix is simple but non-negotiable. Always check the official embassy website of your destination 2 weeks before departure. Don't trust blogs or travel groups, only government sites. And here's the hook. If you think this is frustrating, wait until you hear about Mistake 2, because even if your passport is perfect, your seat assignment could still put your safety at risk. Mistake 2. Booking the wrong seat in a crisis. Most passengers choose seats based on comfort, legroom, window vs aisle, or being near the front for quick exits. But what almost no one thinks about is survival odds in emergencies. Multiple studies, including one from the FAA, show that passengers seated in the rear third of the aircraft have a statistically higher chance of surviving a crash than those in the front. The key isn't luxury, it's proximity to usable exits. An ex-flight attendant recently shared a chilling account. On one flight, passengers seated by the overwing exits couldn't figure out how to open the doors, costing precious seconds while smoke filled the cabin. Those seated a few rows back who knew how to operate them were able to save lives. In 2025, airlines push passengers toward preferred seating upgrades near the front of the plane for extra fees. What they don't tell you is that the safest rows statistically lie within 5 seats of an exit, not necessarily up front. The mistake here isn't choosing comfort, it's ignoring exit access in your decision. The fix: always study the seat map before choosing. Aim for aisle seats within 5 rows of an exit. And pro move, ask the gate agent politely if exit rows are available. They often open up last minute for free. Survival, not just legroom, is on the line. Mistake 3. Trusting budget airlines without reading the fine print. The rise of ultra-low-cost carriers has made flying accessible, but in 2025, these airlines are notorious for burying risks in their fine print. It's not just about paying for water or seat assignments anymore. Increasingly, budget carriers are implementing stricter check-in cutoffs, often closing the gate 45 minutes before departure, even if security lines are still jammed. Miss that? No refund, no rebooking. You're stranded. One viral TikTok showed a woman in tears after being denied boarding because she checked in 42 minutes before takeoff on a budget carrier in Europe. She argued that security had delayed her, but the airline didn't care. Why? Because hidden in the fine print was a rule requiring all passengers to check in an hour before departure, regardless of airport conditions. Another overlooked danger? Maintenance shortcuts. While these airlines still meet safety regulations, Their fleets often consist of older aircraft, and quick turnarounds mean higher odds of delays or cancellations due to mechanical issues. The fix is awareness. If you fly budget, build a 2-hour buffer for check-in, bring a backup credit card in case of surprise mandatory fees, and always travel with carry-on only to avoid luggage games. Saving $100, 0 cents upfront isn't worth losing your entire trip. Mistake 4. Ignoring airline loyalty perks in emergencies. Most travelers think loyalty programs are just for frequent flyers chasing free upgrades. But here's the shocking truth. In 2025, loyalty status can make or break how airlines treat you during crises like mass cancellations or weather delays. Airlines are increasingly using automated systems that prioritize rebookings based on loyalty tier. Translation: if you're not part of their program, you're last in line when flights go wrong. During the 2022 Southwest meltdown, passengers with elite status were rebooked onto partner airlines within hours. Regular passengers? Some were stranded for 3 days, sleeping in airports. This pattern has only intensified with AI-driven rebooking systems airlines rolled out in 2024. The mistake passengers make is assuming loyalty doesn't matter if they only fly once or twice a year. In reality, signing up is free, and even entry-level members get priority over non-members. That small move can mean getting home the same day instead of waiting days stranded in a terminal. The fix: sign up for every airline you might fly. It costs nothing, and when irregular operations hit, and they always do, you'll be glad you did. Mistake 5. Overlooking cabin air quality risks. Here's a mistake few passengers even realize exists: assuming cabin air is clean and safe. In reality, cabin air is a mix of recycled, pressurized outside air and has been linked to cases of aerotoxic syndrome. In 2025, the issue is getting more attention as airlines quietly lobby against stricter regulations on air filters. Flight attendants have shared accounts of fume events. When engine oil or hydraulic fluid leaks into the air supply, passengers may feel sudden headaches, dizziness, or nausea, but airlines rarely admit the cause. Worse, constant exposure to low humidity in cabins dehydrates your body, making you more vulnerable to illness. One study by the Aerospace Medical Association found that passengers are up to 6 times more likely to catch colds or flu after long flights, thanks to dry air weakening immune defenses. That's why seasoned travelers swear by bringing saline sprays, high-quality masks, and drinking water every hour. The fix isn't paranoia, it's preparation. Bring hydration, use nasal sprays, and avoid alcohol, which makes dehydration worse. Ignoring cabin air quality won't just leave you tired. It could mean starting your vacation sick. Mistake 6. Packing banned items without realizing it. Every year, thousands of passengers are shocked when they reach security and discover something in their bag that either gets confiscated or puts them under extra screening. In 2025, the list of prohibited items has grown, and it's catching people off guard. Power banks above 100 watt-hours? Gone. Certain Bluetooth trackers like older AirTags? Banned on some carriers because of interference concerns. Even everyday items like peanut butter were recently confiscated because TSA classifies it as a liquid. Passengers assume these rules are universal, but they vary wildly between airlines and countries. For example, a vape pen that passes security in Miami might get you fined in Dubai. A family flying through Doha last year had their entire vacation disrupted when their teenage son's vape device resulted in a $1,500, 0 cents fine and hours in questioning. The mistake isn't just ignorance, it's assuming the airline will forgive you. In reality, carriers are getting stricter. Any violation can result in denied boarding with no refund. The fix: always check the banned ETM list on both the airline and the departure airport's website before packing. It sounds tedious, but it could save your entire trip. Mistake 7. Misunderstanding airline compensation rights. When your flight gets delayed or canceled, most passengers just groan, accept a meal voucher, and wait. But in 2025, that's a costly mistake. Air passengers in Europe are protected under EU Regulation 2061, which guarantees compensation up to €600. $0 for delays over 3 hours. Yet most travelers don't claim it, and airlines won't remind you. One American traveler shared on Reddit how they were stranded in Frankfurt for 12 hours due to a mechanical fault. They assumed they were owed nothing beyond a hotel room, until another passenger explained EU 261. They filed a claim and received €600, $0 cash, within 6 weeks. That's more than the cost of their ticket. In the US, rights are weaker, but still present. Airlines must refund passengers for cancellations they cannot rebook within a reasonable time frame. Yet many airlines quietly push travel credits instead, hoping you won't insist on cash. The fix is to know your rights in advance. If you're flying through Europe, bookmark the EU 261 rules. In the US, check the EDO Airline Customer Service dashboard. Knowledge equals money. Ignorance costs you. Mistake 8. Falling for Wi-Fi and data traps. Airline Wi-Fi has become more available, but in 2025, it's still a revenue machine. Many passengers make the mistake of assuming the advertised unlimited internet is truly unlimited. In reality, it's often capped after a certain data threshold, slowing to unusable speeds. One passenger reported paying $30 for a flight-long pass, only to discover streaming was blocked unless they paid another $15 upgrade. The bigger danger? Connecting without protection. Airline Wi-Fi is notoriously insecure, with stories of hackers harvesting passenger data mid-flight. Cybersecurity experts recommend using a VPN, yet almost no one does. A 2024 case in Asia involved thieves who accessed dozens of passengers' online banking while they browsed mid-air. The fix is twofold: download entertainment before flying, and if you must connect, use a VPN and stick to light browsing. Also, check if your credit card offers free in-flight Wi-Fi. Many premium cards now partner with carriers. Don't throw away $30 for patchy service when you could prepare smarter. Mistake 9. Forgetting the 24-hour US rule. This one is shocking because it's hiding in plain sight. In the US, airlines are required by law to allow passengers to cancel or change any booking made directly with the airline within 24 hours of purchase, with no penalty. Yet millions of travelers lose money every year because they don't know or don't use this rule. For instance, a family booked 4 tickets from New York to Los Angeles, only to realize hours later they had selected the wrong return date. They assumed they'd have to pay $200 per person to change it. A savvy friend reminded them of the 24-hour rule. They canceled, rebooked, and saved $800 in fees. Airlines bury this policy because they know confusion equals profit. Many even word confirmation emails to suggest changes incur penalties without highlighting your right to a free cancellation. The fix is simple. If you ever have second thoughts, cancel within 24 hours and rebook. This rule doesn't apply to third-party sites, so always book directly with the airline if possible. Mistake 10. Relying too much on travel insurance. Fine print. Travel insurance sounds like the ultimate safety net. But in 2025, many passengers are discovering it's not as bulletproof as they thought. A common mistake is assuming every cancellation is covered. In reality, most basic travel insurance policies only cover medical emergencies or airline-caused delays, not if you simply change your mind or miss a flight due to traffic. One couple spent $600 on a comprehensive policy, only to find out when their cruise was canceled that pandemics and strikes were excluded. They got nothing back. Insurance companies know most people won't read the 30-page policy booklet. Entry: the fix. Don't just buy insurance for peace of mind. Understand what's excluded. Look specifically for policies that include cancel for any reason clauses, even if they cost more. And if you have a premium credit card, check its built-in protections before paying for duplicate coverage. Otherwise, you're buying a false sense of security. Mistake 11. Misjudging connection times. Airlines love to sell legal connections, tight layovers that technically meet minimum connection standards, but in reality are near impossible. In 2025, with longer security checks, biometric boarding, and staff shortages, these short connections are riskier than ever. A traveler flying from Chicago to Istanbul with a 45-minute layover in New York missed their connection because the plane arrived slightly late. The airline claimed the connection was valid, so the passenger wasn't entitled to compensation. They lost a day of vacation plus $200.00 in hotel fees. The fix is always padding your layovers. Domestic-to-domestic connections should be at least 90 minutes. International connections should be 2 to 3 hours. Never trust the airline's minimum connection time. It's designed to maximize ticket sales, not your peace of mind. Mistake 12. Believing carry-on always saves you. In 2025, more passengers are skipping checked bags to avoid fees, but relying entirely on carry-on luggage can backfire. Many airlines quietly shrink carry-on size allowances, especially budget carriers. That roller bag you've used for years might suddenly be classified as oversized. Gate agents know this and are often incentivized to tag your bag for the hold, charging you a surprise $75.00 fee at the gate. Even worse, overhead bin space has become a battleground. Boarding last almost guarantees your bag won't fit, forcing you to gate check it. That defeats the whole purpose of avoiding checked baggage. One traveler reported on Twitter that their carry-on, with expensive camera gear, was taken and checked against their will, only to be damaged in transit. The fix: always check the exact carry-on dimensions for your ticket class. Bring a collapsible duffel as backup, and, if you're carrying valuables, keep them in a smaller personal item that never leaves your side. Carry-on travel is smart, unless you forget how airlines twist the rules against you. Mistake 13. Overestimating airline security. Airports have TSA and biometric gates, so most passengers assume airline security ends there. But insiders reveal that once you're on the plane, airlines cut corners. For example, not all carriers screen every catering truck that loads your food. In 2023, there was an investigation in South America showing how easily unscanned items slipped on board. The mistake is assuming once you pass TSA, you're fully safe. In reality, cabin crew are your last line of defense, and that's why they emphasize vigilance. Suspicious behavior, abandoned bags, even someone lingering near the cockpit, these matter. Flight attendants have quietly stopped hijack attempts and smuggling rings simply because a passenger spoke up. The fix is being aware, not paranoid. If you see something odd on board, report it discreetly to a flight attendant. It could save lives. And while most flights are routine, ignoring your surroundings is a mistake airlines won't warn you about because they don't want you anxious. Mistake 14. Failing to understand hidden fees in 2025. Airlines are getting bolder with hidden fees, and passengers keep falling for them. A decade ago, it was just checked bags. In 2025, you'll find charges for things like seat selection assistance, priority boarding by mistake, or even printing your boarding pass at the airport. One viral post showed a passenger charged $50.00 at a European airport because they forgot to check in online. Another reported being billed $25.00 simply to speak with a live agent about a flight change. These aren't scams, they're official policies buried in the fine print. The mistake is failing to anticipate how airlines monetize everything. The fix is to assume nothing is free. Check in online, use mobile boarding passes, and double-check luggage rules for your fare class. Expecting traditional service without paying extra is one of the most expensive mistakes you can make in 2025. Mistake 15. Forgetting backup plans for critical connections. The final mistake might be the most devastating. Assuming your itinerary will go exactly as planned. Airlines are operating at near capacity in 2025. That means when a flight gets canceled, rebooking options are scarce. Miss a connection in Atlanta or Dubai, and you might find the next available seat is 2 days later. The shocking truth is airlines aren't required to book you on competitors unless mandated by law, and most won't unless you push hard. One traveler headed to a wedding in Europe missed their connection in Chicago due to delays and begged to be rebooked on another airline. The carrier refused, citing policy. They missed the event entirely. The fix: always have a backup plan. Research alternate routes before you travel. Know which airlines are partners and which airports have frequent connections to your destination. Having that knowledge lets you advocate strongly at the counter. Don't wait for the airline to decide your fate. So there you have it, 15 of the most dangerous air travel mistakes you must avoid in 2025. Some may seem small, but the consequences can be massive, from losing thousands of dollars to risking your health and safety. The truth is, airlines thrive when passengers are uninformed. But now you know the traps, and you'll never walk into them blindly again. Before you click away, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's the worst mistake you've ever made while traveling? And what did you learn from it? Sharing your story could save another traveler from the same nightmare. And if you found value in this video, make sure to subscribe for more insider tips. Because this year, smart travelers don't just fly, they outsmart the airlines.